Hello and welcome to episode 2 of the I Am Compulsive podcast. My name is Andy and I'm a compulsive gambler. As the title of the episode suggests, I, along with my family, have decided that it's best for all of us for me to head back to rehab. I'll go through this in some more detail later, but for now, I want to answer some questions that have come through, which will share some of my journey with compulsive gambling. So let's go. When did you first start gambling? Okay. As crazy as it sounds, my first bet would have been around 10 years old. Just a bit of fun with my dad and my da, my grandfather. We called him Da. Dad had shares in racehorses, and I loved it from day one. I've shared this recently with a brilliant counsellor I've been working with, Jan Beams, that despite the destruction that my gambling has caused, I still have fond memories of it. Particularly the early days, listening to the radio with Da as he marked out his bets for the day, going to the races with him and my dad. I went on holidays on the Gold Coast, going to the races in general, fun afternoons with mates. Yeah, it's started from a very early age, which, again, to look back at now seems a bit crazy, but it all started off in what we thought was a bit of fun, but certainly hasn't ended up that way. When did you realise it was a problem? Great question, that one. Looking back, honestly, it really was a problem, probably as early as 15. And again, as I've recently discussed and uncovered with Jan, gambling became a real comfort for me during what was a challenging childhood, severe anxiety, an unstable home life, an absent father. The seeds were sown very early that gambling was going to be my release, and that's really continued to this day. On top of that, my parents purchased a pub when I was 13. It had a bistro, a bottle shop, and most importantly, a sports bar with a TAB. For those not from Australia, TAB is a sports book or a betting shop. Ours was attached to the rest of the business, what's called a pub tab. And for somebody who lived for sport and lived for horse racing and who'd already been exposed to gambling at an early age, I was literally like a kid in a candy shop. And then, back to the comfort gained from immersing myself in gambling. This is a connection I want to and I need to break. And that's where we'll get to towards the end of this episode. Who did you hurt by gambling? The obvious people, most important people. That's what addiction does. It hurts the people you love the most. So my family, my entire family, wider family, my unbelievably supportive wife, who, as I said in my intro video last week, is still hanging in there. My two beautiful kids, even though they're only 3 and 5, time consumed with gambling has been time lost with them. And again, talk about it shortly, but spending more time away from them to get myself right is going to be tough, but in the long run is what's needed and will be the best thing for me, but more importantly for them. Number of friends, colleagues, whether directly or indirectly. The thing with gambling is it's so much of a lonely, isolated, and in some ways, in a lot of ways, a quiet addiction. People don't really know what's going on under the surface. It doesn't have the literal battle scars on the outside that drugs and alcohol might have, but internally it's every bit as painful and destructive. And then obviously myself, for years my gambling has been an act of self-sabotage, self-destruction. And when you get to this point, that is addiction. in a nutshell. It's no longer fun. You're doing it to punish yourself, really, and then that in turn only makes things worse and punishes those that you love, and that's really got to stop, and it will stop. What did you do to stop gambling? Well, I'm currently just under 2 months since my last bet, one day at a time. But over the years, and we're talking, 20 plus years of compulsive gambling, I've really tried everything, tried cold turkey, white knuckling it, as they say, and, have had as much as 2 years bet free with that method. I've previously been to a rehab, and the same rehab that I will be going back to, but this time going back there really with a much more accepting attitude and a want and a willingness to embrace everything that I'm going to learn in there. I've been to a wellness retreat which specialised in mental health and also addiction. I've tried numerous different counsellors, should I say, psychiatrists, psychologists. I've attended different Gamblers Anonymous fellowships, and I still currently am attending a weekly GA meeting here, and I am currently having a weekly appointment with Jan, who I've mentioned, via Zoom. I've also got a local psychiatrist that I've been seeing and will continue to see. And really, lastly, being all in this time. Really am all in. I'm starting and have started this YouTube channel, podcast, dedicated to sharing my story, sharing the stories of others, helping people as much as I can, and in turn being helped. But at the end of the day, I need to help myself first, and therefore help my family, help my friends, and then help you guys. None of us can do this on our own. We need community. It's something that when in active addiction, particularly with gambling, and I'm speaking right now from current lived experience, you just become so isolated. But the brilliant thing, if you want help, the help is out there, whether it is a Gamblers Anonymous fellowship, community of like-minded people, people that don't judge, people that have been through the same, if not worse, than you have. And for the next 3 weeks, I'll be dedicating myself to proper rehabilitation. Recording this on Thursday, which is the 1st of June here in Australia. And on Monday, which will be the 5th of June, I'll be flying across the country from Perth, where I'm based, over to Melbourne to complete a 3-week inpatient program dedicated to gambling addiction, addiction in general, mental health, trauma, and really wanting to come out of that 3 weeks, and the 3 weeks that I'll be away from my family, away from my 2 beautiful kids, as I said, my wife. I really want to dedicate every minute that I'm in there to learning about myself, why I've got to this point in life, got to the point in life where my gambling has once again gotten out of control, and breaking that cycle, like I said, because it's not a life to live. And I want to get back to the Andy that I want to be, and the Andy that I deserve to be, and my friends, family, everyone deserve to have in their lives, not the current shell that they have. So yeah, as of Monday, as I say, I'll be offline for 3 weeks, and really appreciate any positive energy you can send my way and send the way of my family. And I look forward to picking this back up in 3 weeks' time with even more knowledge behind me. And hopefully what I learn and the time that I put in is going to help any of you that are listening in and watching, which I really appreciate. So wish me luck, and I'll be back in a few weeks, as I say. In the meantime, if you can, like this video, subscribe to my channel, share with any friends, family, anyone that you think that could take something out of this. That's the whole aim of the channel. And let's grow it together, grow that community, like I said. So I will be in touch very soon. Stay safe, stay well, stay bet free, one day at a time, and keep coming back. Cheers.